All right, guys, I think we're recording. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how excited and honored I am to be on this call tonight. I started as a coach like 2 years ago, and I remember when I first signed up, I like stalked Lindsay and the whole Bombshell Dynasty, all of those coaches. I stalked you guys like crazy all day, every day, watching and just I dreamed that one day I would be able to even be half of what you guys are and half of the teams that you guys have. And being on here is just so surreal, and I can't even believe it, and I just feel so blessed. So thank you guys all for joining me tonight and taking some time out of your busy schedules to be here and listen to me. Super pumped. So tonight I want to go over a couple of things with you guys. I want to tell you my story and how this opportunity honestly has changed my life completely over the past 2.5 years as a coach. I also want to talk to you guys a little bit about how to have people taking you seriously in this business. That's something that kind of touches home with me because I was very young when I started as a coach. So we're going to get into it, and I'm super excited. So my story, how I started as a coach, I started as a coach about 2.5 years ago. I had just had my daughter, Brody Lynn. She's 3 now, but I had just had her. And when I started, like, I have struggled with my body image issues my whole life. I've always struggled with that. Not even so much being overweight. I had yo-yo dieted even since I was like 14. I've always struggled with that. So that's kind of how I got into this whole thing. But from a business perspective, I had a beautiful life growing up. I really did. We didn't have a lot of hardship in my family. My parents worked very, very hard to give us an amazing life. It was beautiful. We had a beautiful home, beautiful vehicles that, we had been given for our birthdays. We were very well taken care of, and they worked very hard. And then about 3 years ago, my dad got really, really sick. And my family lost everything. And my parents had lost their home. We, lost vehicles, and it was just such a scary thing. And we thought for sure we were going to lose my dad. We had that conversation one day with my dad, like, when I do pass, you're going to be very well taken care of. And it scared me so bad. The thought of losing a parent is the hardest thing in the world. So it totally ripped me apart. It was absolutely horrible. So I had moved back in with my parents, not only to kind of help out a little bit financially, but just to be together and support each other through everything that was going on. So I had moved back in with my parents. And a couple of months later, I found out that I was pregnant with Brody Lynn. So I was living in my parents' basement. My boyfriend at the time was working on the weekends. He was going to school full time. He was working 13-hour shifts on the weekend, making like $13 an hour. So not very much money up here, just to squeeze by. And as time went on, and we were forced to move out of that house, we ended up moving into a condo that was like totally run down. All the baseboards had even been ripped off, and there was like mildew growing like up the wall. We found out later that there was black mold growing in Brody Lynn's closet, and it was just the most horrible feeling in the whole world, being a brand new mom and knowing that I had just watched my entire world crumble before I was, even 22 years old. Like, I was 22, and I felt like my whole life had fallen apart, and I was not going to be able to give my child the life that I was given. And I was scared. I was so scared, and I was just so lost. I felt really, really lost. And so I remember I told this story at a Super Saturday a couple weekends ago, and it was just unbelievable. But it was like 3 years ago. I remember sitting down on my bedroom floor, and I started to bawl my eyes out because I had gotten this Bible when I was really, really little. And I got it for my birthday. And I took $10 that I got for my birthday money, and I put it into this Bible. And I had kept that my whole life until at one point I actually had to take the $10 out of my Bible and sit on my bedroom floor because that was the money that I was going to pay for groceries with that month. And it just, my life just felt like it was completely ripped apart, and it was horrible. So I knew in my heart that the one thing that I did have left that I had to get under control was my health. Because not only was my health, the only thing that I had left, the only thing that I still had control over in my life when I felt like everything was out of control, but it was also what had gotten my family into, this position in the first place. Right? So I really knew that I needed to get my health under control. So I sold some of Brody Lynn's clothes. I sold my baby's clothes so that I could buy my first challenge pack. And I signed up as a coach. I lost 37 pounds in 90 days with Turbo Fire. And I felt alive. I felt like I was a part of something. And for the first time in a really, really long time, I just felt like everything was going to be okay. And that there was a little bit of hope there. And I knew in my heart that there must be other people out there just like me that were struggling in their life, that had struggled with their weight or, their body image issues, or, young moms that just want to get back into the groove of things. And I knew that there was other people out there like that. So that's how I became a coach. I just started talking about it. I started talking about my journey, and I started talking about, how I was making it work, and, tips on doing things cheap because I had no money. And, I signed up to be, to get a discount on my Shakeology because I couldn't afford to be on it every month. So it's pretty cool that, month after month, I slowly talked to a few people every single day about this, and I made enough money to pay for my challenge pack my first month and stay on Shakeology. And it's just, I'm so blessed. I feel so incredibly blessed by this opportunity, and being here tonight talking about this just blows my mind. So I'm really excited, and I thank God every day for this opportunity, that changed my family's life. It really did. So I'm going to get into it with you guys. I want to go through a couple of slides. The first slide. So consistency is proof that you're in it for the long haul with them. And I think this was huge for me. In a couple of slides from now, I'm going to talk about kind of the image that I had when I started out and the image that I kind of grew into. So if you believe that you're already there, it'll happen. And that's what I did right from day one. I was a 22-year-old new mom who lives in a town of like 20,000 people up here in Canada when we had just launched. Like, nobody even knew what Beachbody was up here. So it was interesting to start out and, kind of build my brand, and I did everything over social media. So these two pictures, the difference between these two pictures is the picture on the left, I posted that like my first 6 weeks as a coach. So that's my picture as a brand new coach. And the one on the right is a picture that I posted just a few days ago. So the point that I wanted to show you guys is that I have been posting the exact same stuff for like 2.5 years. It's been consistent. And my main focus was going to be on Facebook. I was going to talk about, my journey and the stuff that I was doing. I was going to do it all on Facebook. So if I can give you, any piece of advice, it's get Photify on your phone and learn PicMonkey.com and get really, really good at it, and just focus on that, because it's been huge for me. So talking about, what you're doing every single day, talk about your journey, because people want to know. You'd be surprised actually how little some people do know. Even some of the stuff that you think is really obvious, there's a lot of people that don't know. So be talking about it, sharing your tips. How are you meal prepping, for the week? Working moms, that sort of thing, or how are you working out with 3 kids? People want to see that. So just sharing every single day, how you're changing your life. Being transparent on Facebook in all aspects of your journey. So I was talking about, my fitness journey. I started with a 3-day detox or a 3-day refresh. It takes 3 days to get that result, so even as a brand new coach, order that in, make that investment into yourself, post that picture, and start talking about it. Talk about it every single day, posting, what what the refresh actually looks like. I really tried to not ever talk too much about, the meat and potatoes of the program itself or the program name a lot. I was just showing what I was doing from a really general aspect, keeping a little bit of secrecy in it so that people actually had to come to me and ask a little bit about it. And it only, honestly, guys, takes one post to pull on somebody's heartstring, and that's going to be the one that makes them sign up. So, sometimes you feel like I'm driving people nuts or I'm posting a lot, and I hope that I'm not irritating people. A lot of times people aren't going to see what you're doing, or there's going to be that one post that really, resides with someone, and that's going to be the moment that they're like, okay, you know what? Now I'm ready. Now I'm going to do it. There'll be just something about it. And the bigger your network gets and the more you're talking about it, there's that small chance. So don't leave it all on the table. You have to make sure that, you're holding it all together and that you're talking about it and creating that one post that is going to sit with somebody. And the whole point of the posting thing is to create trust. And that's really, really important. So I feel like if you're talking too much about your picture with your shake every single day, that's not creating trust with anybody. The whole point of this entire business is to create a relationship of trust with your entire following. People don't ever buy the actual Beachbody products from you. That's not what this is. Very rarely will you ever make a sale from talking about the products, because that's not what it is. If you can create, a culture on your Facebook, and if you can create that trust with people and those followings with people, eventually they're going to buy whatever it is that you're selling. It doesn't matter what you're selling. The people just want to follow you, and they trust you, and they trust that this journey is working because you have been, showing them that it works for 2.5 years. So creating trust. People want to see that you're committed. People want to see that you're in the long haul with them and that you're not going to bail out. So every month or, every 2 weeks when you're posting your progress, your journey, you're posting it week after week after week, and people are seeing you stick with it and it's consistent. People want to know that you're not going to bail, and that after 2 months you're not going to go on to the next MLM company or the next product, or that it's just a fling thing for you. So that's the best way to create trust, is to let them know that you're in it to win it with them. And they're going to trust you no matter what. And this is all about not judging this call, so don't judge. I totally noticed that there's a spelling error in my title, and I was kind of laughing about it. Trust is a two-dimensional thing. So trust is created by character and competence. So I always try and stick both of those into all of my posts that I do. Character. These are things about, your own personal character. Are you acting with integrity? Do you have a motive? Do you have intent with people when you're posting, when you're creating these posts? Competence. Are you a capable coach? Are you, do you have skills as a coach? Are you getting results from the programs? What does your track record look like? So these are all things that I really like to focus on when I am posting. Everything that I post does intend to motivate or inspire people. I am being a product of the product. I am being consistent every single day, even when sometimes I get tired of posting. And I'm speaking to my market. So this is an example post that I did. So, instead of the same sweaty workout picture every single day and saying 21-day fix, hashtag love it, nobody knows even what I'm talking about, I'm trying to create an environment of trust on my Facebook. So actually in this post, what the actual post says is that it talks about me working out with Brody Lynn, and then at the end of it there's a little call to action that said post your picture that's with your workout buddy. I want to see what you guys are doing. So, it kind of creates an environment with other people working out and showing me what they're doing, which I love. And it's so much fun. It makes it so much more fun. So, integrity. There kind of comes a bit of like professionalism too. And I think this is really, really important, that when you do start as a Beachbody coach and you are using your Facebook as your storefront, you do have to become very professional, very business-like. So you want to watch what you're posting, watch your language, watch, there's always not, I don't want to say you don't want to offend anybody, because there's always going to be a little bit of that, here and there, but if it's something that you wouldn't want your grandma seeing, it's probably not the best thing to be posting as a business front. You want to be taken seriously, so treating it with integrity. Have a motive. So if you're posting, just a picture of your food without explaining why you're posting it, no one is going to have any idea what you're doing. If you're posting a sweaty workout picture, but you're not, talking about how it makes you feel or the struggle that you're dealing with it, or, how excited you feel about it or how it's changing your life, have a little bit of motive and intent with people, and understand that these are all people that in some way or another you could help change their life. Even if it's not through a Beachbody program, when you're talking about your journey and you're being transparent with people, you're going to start changing lives. And so have a little bit of intent with that. My personal market on Facebook is definitely young moms. I'm only 25 now. My Brody Lynn is 3, and it's just me and her at home, and we're hanging out all day long. I'm a stay-at-home mom, just Beachbody, that's it. I retired my job when I was pregnant with her, and then I went back to work for a little bit, but completely retired. Now I stay at home with her. So I know that that's my market. So when I am posting, I'm talking to these people. She's in it with me. I talk about working out with her, and the competency part comes in when I show that I'm still running a legitimate business. Month in and month out, every single month, I am starting a brand new challenge group on the first Monday of every month. I'm there. I'm doing it with you. I'm on day 2. That was my day 2. I'm doing the programs. I'm in it with you. I'm going through the struggles too. My skills as a coach. I'm proving that I have these skills as a coach because I'm working really closely with my team, and I'm seeing rank advancements, and I'm moving forward in my business, and my team is moving forward. So talking about the accomplishments business-wise also gives you more credibility as a coach. I'm having results. I'm constantly working on my body. I'm constantly working on my mind, growing as a person, and I'm showing these results on Facebook. Having a track record. All of these things I think are really, really important in your posting. So 2-dimensional trust. And then I have another slide. And then the last thing I really, really wanted to talk to you guys about is being judged. And this is really more or less what I wanted to talk about on this call, because I feel like this is something that touches at home with me huge. Because when I started as a coach, even before I got pregnant with Brody Lynn, I was a party girl. I like to party. We went out. And we Amber, I just seen you say yes. I have a couple of my girlfriends that are on my team, and they know. But I was changing, and I knew in my heart that if I was going to be up on stage one day, if I was, going to be able to lead a team of women, to be able to follow their dreams, I was going to have to grow as a person, and some things were going to change, and I had to figure out how I was going to do it. So I think this comes up a lot, especially with new coaches, that struggle that you have between, how am I going to start talking about this without looking like an icky salesperson? Or how am I going to start talking about this when all of my family thinks that it's a scam? And if that is a point in your business that you have made it to, I want to congratulate you. Because if you are being judged and, people are starting to talk about you, you have made an impact on somebody. People are starting to notice you. People are noticing what you're doing, and that's an exciting thing. So you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it as I'm being judged and I don't like it. And, I might be offending people, or people are probably laughing about me and talking behind my back. Or you can get really, really excited and know that there's actually people out there that are seeing what you're doing. And being judged is not a bad thing. So the first picture there was before I had Brody Lynn. And I'm pretty sure that in that picture I was being judged. At that point in my life, I was being judged. And moving forward, I wanted to follow my dreams. And I didn't care. I didn't care what people said. I had to, put my own feelings aside if I was going to push forward and I was going to become something and my business was going to grow. So the next picture is when I started as a Beachbody coach. I was being judged. I got judged. You think people weren't laughing at me that, 6 months earlier I posted the green shirt picture and now I'm all fitness and health. I was being judged. I'm sure I was being judged. And this picture says, here I am doing exactly what I promised myself I would. And that is the truth. I was there and I was in it and I didn't care what anybody said. And I just kept pushing forward. And picture number 3, that was me a couple of weeks ago at the Calgary event. At the Super Saturday, or no, it wasn't Super Saturday, it was a launch event, but that's me on stage, and that's 2 years later, and that was my dream. That's what I dreamt of doing, talking in front of people, telling my story, and talking about how I overcame obstacles, crazy obstacles, and, I pushed forward, and I'm dreaming, I'm living a dream, and you know what? I'm still being judged. There is still people out there that are talking about me, I'm sure of it. But it says, I'm still being judged, but I'm too happy to care. And I'm actually in a point in my life that I'm proud of who I am. So my point is that it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, people are going to talk about you. People are going to talk about you, and that's okay because you're making an impact. And I will not let my dreams be squished by what other people think or what other people say. Honestly, in 5 years from now, from where you're sitting on this call with me tonight, in 5 years from now, if you're consistent and you share your journey and you tell your truth, and you are transparent, it's not going to matter in 5 years from now about the people that laughed at you because of your planking picture on Facebook. It's not going to matter. When you get to pack up, I have to tell you a story, and I'm beyond excited about this. I booked a flight for me and Brody Lynn to go to Palm Springs for a week on Wednesday, and I booked it last night. And to be able to realize that 2 years ago I couldn't even pay for food, and now I'm taking my baby to Palm Springs for a week to be in the sunshine is incredible. And if I would have worried 2 years ago what people were going to say about my planking picture, I never would have been able to do that. So, don't ever let what people think of you squish your dreams, because this opportunity is here. And it is not, anyone can do it. Anyone can have this. So, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter who thinks it's a scam when you make it to the top. I won't let other people's opinions squish my dreams. And you will have friends, you're going to have family, you're going to have all sorts of people walk out on you. They're going to walk out. I had, friends, my entire group of friends, I talked to maybe 3 or 4 of them now, and they're all Beachbody coaches. I don't have the group of friends that I had before, but there's a reason for that. And they don't support me, and there's no love there, and I don't think that there would have been anyways, and eventually we probably would have parted ways for, one reason or another. So that's okay. And, I had family talk about me behind my back. Family that talks about you behind your back, these scammy shake products that you're selling, and that's going to happen, and that's okay. And if you want to remove me from Facebook, that's totally okay, because there is so many people out there that need your help, and you're going to save somebody's life. And so if I can make a spot on my Facebook for that person that needs my help, then that's awesome. Totally okay with me. Facebook also, I think it's really important that you do understand that Facebook is your storefront. it's not a personal fun zone anymore. So you are going to have people that aren't going to want to see those posts, and that's okay because this is your business. 110%. This is your money maker. This is your golden egg, right? So you there is a spot in your business, especially as a new coach, that you have to accept the fact that you are starting a business and that is your storefront and you're going to use it as so, and to not ever apologize that you're going to talk about your journey on there. And a quote that I heard that I absolutely loved that I think totally makes sense for this is, sometimes you have to burn a few bridges to keep the crazies from following you across. And I think that's so true. You're going to burn bridges, but that's okay, because the people that are going to walk out on you are people that you probably didn't want in your positive, successful nest anyways. So I just want to, honestly, if you have gotten to a point in your business where there is people talking about you and people walking away and they're not buying into your vision, that's okay. Because the faster that you accept that this is who I am and this is what I'm doing and I love it. I love it. I have the best products on the face of the earth. I have the best team that I am on, and I have the most incredible friends that I could have ever met in my life that have become like family to me and would back me over anything. I wouldn't trade that for the world. So the faster you can get to that point with your business, the faster it's going to explode. And trust me, it's positive and it's exciting. And it is the best feeling in the whole world when you can get to a point where, it's just a really positive environment. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much all out there, all on the table. That's how I've built my business. That's how I got here. And I don't know anything more than anybody else. I don't have any special tips and tricks. All I did was just share my journey and not apologize to anybody and, talk about it and talk about my struggles. And I was totally okay with, changing my life and becoming a completely different person. And I think that it doesn't matter who you are right now. I'm sure you have a vision of who you want to be in the next 5 years, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. You have that image of your head of exactly who you want to be, and that's okay. Whoever that is that you want to be, it's okay to push forward and leave a couple of people behind. And the best way to get to where you want to go is look at the people that have already done it and follow in their footsteps. And just go for it. And trust me, we were laughing the other day about how, when I started as a coach, I was like, how am I going to do this? And there was, a few girls that I did follow, like Lindsay was absolutely one of them. And I'm pretty sure that my profile from my first little bit as a coach was very, very similar to Lindsay's profile. And I kind of laugh about it now. But, so find people that you love and that you want to be like, and eventually they'll become like your family. And it's an amazing feeling. So I have a little homework for you guys tonight, and I want you after this call to go onto your Facebook profile, onto your business front. I want you to scroll down to the last 10 posts and go through them and ask yourself, am I creating an environment of trust? Am I talking with integrity? Does the post have a motive? Am I intending to motivate and inspire people? Am I being a product of the product at all on my Facebook? Am I being consistent with my posting? Did I post 5 times one day and then not for a week? Am I speaking to my market? Am I being a competent coach? Am I showing that I'm capable? That yes, I am going to help you. Yes, I am going to hold your hand and we're going to do this together. Is it showing that you do have skills? Is it showing that you're getting better at PicMonkey or at Photify or, taking selfies? Are you improving your actual physical skills as a coach? Are you getting results? Are you talking about those results every single week? And are you showing that you have a track record? Are you showing that on Facebook? If the post does not fall somewhere inside of this category, it should probably be removed. If it's not a professional post, remove it. You know, make this your business front, and let's all on this team create beautiful profiles. I know that you can do, you know, I know that you can all do it, and anyone can have this. So thank you guys so much for coming on tonight and listening to what I have to say. And if you're horrible at selfies, you'll get better. Mine were horrible for the first little bit, all of my posts. Oh, it gets better. Practice. So have a good night, guys. I'm going to turn the music back on for you.